Hello everybody, welcome back to the world of Kiyln. Today I'm showing you the 5th type of burner, which fits into the kind of rogue or stealthy class of character. These guys are called knaves, assassins and infiltrators that burn the substance called prismahest to turn themselves invisible to the naked eye. It took me a few tries to get a design I liked for these guys, as I wanted to evoke the traditional badass look of the rogue, while also keeping it tonally consistent with what I've done previously. I knew from the beginning that I wanted them to have a kind of white hair that was visible, that traditional edgy cool look. For this to be possible, I put the knave in a mask instead of a helmet. I experimented briefly with a kind of masquerade or doll-like mask, but I ultimately decided that it didn't really fit the somewhat brutalist motifs that I've been developing for the Ghelos Empire, of which all my characters so far have been a part of. That being said, I still really like the idea of those masks. Maybe another country in this world could have that aesthetic. I wanted the knaves to have distinct weapons, so I went in prioritizing vibe over function. I wanted them to have a curved sickle-like sword to evoke the idea of a reaper. And I also gave them these cool swordbreaker or parrying daggers, whose notches are designed to shatter an opponent's blade. Not sure if they actually work, but we'll say they work in this world. Both of these, at least aesthetically, fit the efficient, effective, and intimidating feeling I wanted the knaves to have. I almost did this character design without adding a cloak or cape, but I couldn't resist. I thought it didn't read clearly enough as a stealthy rogue character without that drapery. It also helps if the knaves aren't actively burning to keep them hidden. Alright, so here's my concept. I'm sure you've noticed the iridescent smoke and silvery splotches in my sketches. Don't worry, I'll explain those more shortly. I'm pretty pleased with the shape language I was able to use with this design, although, as always, I think I can improve on it in the future. Like with every part of this world building project, I'll probably make significant changes to the designs and the characters and everything as time goes on. Anyhow, I think this is a good enough point to move on to a more finalized artwork. So how does prismahest work? Well, when burned into a gas, prismahest shifts into a color beyond the visible light spectrum, and it has strange supernatural properties when it's in this state. Prismahest smoke renders whatever is contained within it almost completely invisible to the naked eye. It's not perfect, mind you. There's a slight warble in the air and a gleam of iridescence here and there, but it's still pretty much invisible, and that comes with a whole lot of benefits. It's not just the smoke that's invisible. The more often and intensely a knave burns prismahest, the more their skin and muscle will become saturated with the substance. This results in a silvery splotching all over the body when the knave isn't burning, and a creepy translucency in their skin when they are. There's also one more interesting wrinkle I'd like to mention. While knaves themselves can't see their smoke, most oracle burners can. You see, oracle occasionally unlocks the ability to see beyond the visible spectrum. The biggest potential foil to a knave's invisibility is an unfortunately placed avant. Of course, this is not an inherently negative thing. Some war generals and clandestine orders use prismahest smoke signals to send secret messages over substantial distances, completely hidden to the average passerby. The main jobs for knaves, though, are assassination, thievery, and spying, hence their somewhat demeaning name. Knave means untrustworthy fellow, which is quite fitting. Due to its nature, prismahest is probably the easiest burner ability to keep secret. Many knaves for hire are plants and spies living in high society. The only giveaway is the silvery skin, but that fades after one stops burning for a few weeks, and it can typically be covered up with gloves and other garments. Knaves also have some experimental use in military contexts. Although kept secret for reasons of national security, there are some elite groups of knaves, and they have been sent to infiltrate and quickly dispatch entire enemy outposts over the course of a single night. Prismahest's emotional side effects are surprisingly detrimental to a would-be killer or spy. burning or inhaling prismahest actually emphasizes one's empathetic feelings, as well as strengthening feelings of honor and even sometimes love. For this reason, effective knaves must either have good control over their emotions, or be mentally screwed up so bad that these emotions don't hinder their work. Many of them smoke Ilyaster to bolster their bloodlust, or Ichor to subdue their emotions before a job, while others simply fall into depression and remorse, and will swear off burning for good. Of course, the Ghelnian Empire doesn't treat such defiance kindly. Officially employed knaves will have a difficult time escaping their profession, and rogue spies are not something any government wants to deal with. The rare knave who runs from duty will be likely hunted by a large group of Oracle warriors, and even other knaves, both of which intend to kill them mercilessly. Alright, here we are. Behold, the knave. This was a pretty fun one to put together. Only one more burnable element to go. If you have any ideas for the final burning ability, please comment, because right now I got nothing. Oh, and by the way, if you make any fan art or anything like that, please tag me or send it to me so I can shower you with praise and admiration. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support on this series, and I'll see you next time.